members of the committee. I have before you Senate Bill number 25. It has to do with the ability for Virginia offshore energy. What this bill does, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, is take the code section that exists right now, 67301, expands in that code section to establish an emergency response fund should we be provided the opportunity to expand offshore drilling, the leases offshore. Done a little bit of homework probably over the past year. Met with folks in Louisiana and North Carolina, learned from some of the mistakes with their legislation, especially in Louisiana. And so we've come up with this fund as a way to hopefully put Virginia in a better light within the current administration. So the possibility would exist if there was an incident that we would have funds available. Sets aside $50 million that is to be used for that and must remain funded before $1 royalty is extended to any of the distribution entities. It does, however, in the second section under 67301 go in to change what was originally set out where those royalties would be designated to. In my conversation with the chairman of Senate Finance, early on we sat down and went through this, and it advised the Senate Finance there was more to the bill in this sense, but it's my understanding that there might be some different avenues for that. But it also sets up the Community College Energy Exploration and Development Fund that sets that up for our community colleges, the ability to adequately staff and for the sole purpose of staff who's doing curricula in energy exploration development, training these folks to get out into the field as quickly as possible should that be available to us. So, Mr. Chairman, that is the crest of the bill. I can go into what would be a benefits of us having that opportunity, but most of us know what that would mean for us.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Senator Reeves, I actually remember what we had. First of all, whether or not the repeating revenues, which is highly theoretical, we had to change federal law. And then secondly, if we did, what we would do with it. So I understand just looking at the changes. Currently, if we were to receive royalties, and again, right now we don't own any of the assets from the 3 Mile. If we were to receive royalties, 70% would go to Transportation Trust Fund, 20% would go to VSER, Virginia Coastal Energy Research Consortium, and then 10% would go to the locality, most likely to Virginia Beach or somebody in that neighborhood. So you're redoing it. Basically, what you're doing is redoing that.
The second half of the bill, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
The second half of the bill.
Yeah. How are we changing these percentages?
Well, the new percentages would be 20% of the revenues and royalties to the Transportation Trust Fund. 10% would go to the Virginia Coastal Energy Research Consortium. 10% to the Community College Energy Exploration and Development Fund. And 20% of such revenues will go to the Department of Environmental Quality for the protection of water quality and management of water quality. And 40% of those revenues and royalties to the general fund. But I think the greater issue, Mr. Chairman, Senator Peterson, is that currently we don't even have an emergency fund set up. If they were to tell us next year to do, if it changed, I don't know that we are in the correct posture to be able to even really respond adequately without resources that are available to mitigate that. So.
Further questions, Chair? And when you say emergency response, are you talking about an oil spill, or what are you talking about?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Peterson, exactly, that if before $1 is paid out in the royalties to that percentage that we're breaking out, that this fund be established and royalty monies, if there were to start coming in, would be to put that $50 million away. I've had some questions about where that number came from. That number was based off of some of the data that I got from Louisiana and some of the monies that those folks were having to deal with. And so, could that be more? Sure. Could it probably be a little bit less? We could probably get by. So, in all my work, I found that that's probably a pretty solid number.
Other questions? It does appear the committee chooses to act very clearly on this, that we need to go to the council for changing, for establishing funds and also changing distribution for back to office.
The only concern I have with Senator Reeves is that, with what's going on in the world in terms of our search for renewable energy, that my concern with this bill is that it sort of sends the wrong message that our future is in fossil fuels, and it kind of prevents us from making, I think, the proper planning in terms of getting renewable energy developed here in the Commonwealth, getting our houses buttoned up so that they're not wasting energy. There's just all kinds of things that need to be done, and it just seems like we're chasing something that is not likely to happen. There aren't enough coastal senators in the U.S. Senate to get a bill through, and I sure would like to send a message that we're more inclined to get bills that will encourage renewable energy than we are, kind of reaching back into the past and look to develop fossil fuels offshore with all the risks that entails. Thank you.
Okay. And Senator Reeves, did you have a...
Mr. Chairman, Senator Marshall, I wholeheartedly agree with you in that we need to explore all energy resources, but the reality is this code section exists in the form now. The bill that's before the committee, I think, if it were to happen, and we were allowed to have the opportunity to explore offshore, which is going to be technical and precise because of the real realities of our naval fleet that's off the Atlantic coast, that in my opinion, with all the homework and research that I've done, we're inadequately prepared to even go that direction or put Virginia in that light. So in response to that, do I think we should do more in some of the other areas? Absolutely, but I think we need to at least put Virginia in the best light and make sure that we have some adequate protections financially in order to do that. That would be my statement.
Mr. Chair.
Senator Reeves.
First of all, Senator Reeves, I voted against this law when it first came on, I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I thought it was highly hypothetical. I think this is a much better bill than what we had, whatever we voted on 5 years ago. I still would vote against it just because I think, when we talk about hypothetically spending hypothetical funds, we're going to approximate actual funds. But I do think, this is a very good structure to have. Again, I just think it's an abstraction.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyone here to speak against this measure? What's the pleasure?
Yes, hello, thank you. My name is Erica Graham, and Henrico. I agree with you, Senator Marston. We do not need to go down this path of offshore drilling. We need to go towards renewables, and as it goes for a $500,000 per occurrence, there's not enough money to claim a spill of the sort. And obviously, we've already seen in the past what happens. We don't need to go down this path and go towards renewables. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, others?
Wattage together from wind and solar and other renewables we have right now. It's woefully short of what we need. We are going to have to mature these sciences so that at some point in time they will be available and we can use these. But in the meantime, I think anybody that's realistic knows that we are going to depend on fossil fuels for at least the next 50 years. So I hope that we would look at this legislation and what it intends to do and the monies that the Commonwealth can receive from it. Thank you.
Okay. What's the pleasure? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Watkins? Senator Puckett?
Aye.
Senator Ruff?
Aye.
Senator Obenchain? Senator McEachin? Senator Peterson? Senator Stewart? Senator Marsden,
No.
Senator Stanley,
Aye.
Senator Black, Senator Miller,
Aye.
Senator Evans,
No by proxy.
Senator Castro,
Aye.
Senator Henger,
Aye.
none.
Okay, thank you. The bill is